ivory.doodles and welcome to my channel. I'm mainly a digital artist and I focus on making fan art and redesigns for my favorite books, movies, and shows. Today's victim is Miraculous Ladybug. As a side note, this video will contain spoilers for the show if you haven't seen it already. For context, Miraculous Ladybug is a French CGI animated show starring two main protagonists, Marinette Dupain-Cheng and Adrien. Both characters possess magical jewels that allow them to transform into the protectors of Paris, Ladybug and Cat Noir. Their mission is to defeat the supervillain Hawkmoth and take back his Miraculous. Although the show has a very basic premise, there are a few issues that I'll attempt to fix in my rewrite and redesign. As a quick disclaimer, I'm not making this video in an attempt to trash the show. In spite of the issues I have with some of the writings and characters, I still enjoy the show for what it is. As of right now, this show has a complete full seasons, 3 specials, and a full-length film that was recently released on Netflix. Across the 5 seasons that have been released, the same basic formula has been used for each episode. Someone in Paris gets upset, Hawkmoth akumatizes them into a supervillain, and Ladybug and Cat Noir defeat the villain and set everything back to normal. In addition to the superhero side of things, this show also has a heavy focus on romance, which the fandom has nicknamed the Love Square. The Love Square consists of our main characters, Marinette and Adrien, as well as their superhero personas, Ladybug and Cat Noir. From Season 1 up to Season 4, Marinette is in love with Adrien, but Adrien is in love with Ladybug. Adrien is also Cat Noir, who is also in love with Ladybug, but Ladybug doesn't love him back because she's in love with Adrien. One of the biggest plot points being pushed by the show is that Ladybug and Cat Noir are not allowed to know each other's secret identities because it will lead to the end of the world, which is a bit dramatic. Since they are unaware of each other's identities, the romance in the show is at a constant standstill, with Marinette being unable to confess to Adrien and Ladybug rejecting all of Cat Noir's advances. More characters are later added into the Love Square, but they don't show up until Season 2. In the original show, Marinette is a teenage girl of French and Chinese descent who lives in Paris, France, and has aspirations to become a world-famous fashion designer. She was given the Miraculous of the Ladybug by Master Fu, who is the guardian of the Chinese Miracle Box. With the help of her Kwame Tiki, she is able to transform into Ladybug and defend Paris from Hawkmoth and his supervillains. In her civilian life, in addition to her passion to become a fashion designer, Marinette is characterized as a kind and generous person and is seen helping out her parents at their family bakery, as well as giving assistance and advice to her friends and classmates. In addition to this, Marinette is also the class representative, and she can be seen completing her representative duties in a few episodes. Although Marinette is meant to be seen as almost perfect, a lot of her behaviors in the show, especially regarding her crush on Adrien, contradict with her characterization, which is something that I'll be attempting to fix in my rewrite of her character. My version of Marinette can be summarized by one main trait: perfectionism. In canon, Marinette often puts too much pressure on herself and feels the need to do everything on her own with no help from anyone. Even when she's Ladybug, instead of leaning on her partner Cat Noir, she struggles with relying on him and prefers to deal with akumatized villains on her own and rarely asks for his input for her plans. This flaw is largely underdeveloped in the show, but it's something that I want to put an emphasis on in my rewrite. In addition to her perfectionism, my Marinette is also a very avid people pleaser and has a hard time standing up for herself and saying no when she needs to. In my version of the show, Marinette struggles to say no to people in fear of disappointing them. She will often take on more and more work for others until she eventually burns herself out. As I mentioned earlier, Marinette is the class representative in canon. In my version, I want to take this further and add an official student council rather than just having a class representative. This addition strengthens Marinette's character flaw of being a people pleaser and adds a more concrete reason for her rivalry with Chloe. If you haven't already seen the show, Marinette and Chloe are lifelong rivals for reasons that are not explicitly stated in the show. In addition to their previous rivalry, Marinette and Chloe both have a crush on Adrien, which is the root cause of a lot of conflict between the two. In my rewrite, I want Marinette's character and her relationship with the other characters to be less centered around Adrien and more focused on who she is as a person. In this version of the show, Marinette and Chloe are both members of the Student Council. Chloe is president of Student Council due to her popularity as the mayor's daughter. Marinette is in a lower position such as secretary or treasurer. However, many of the classmates want Marinette to have the presidency instead of Chloe, which fuels the rivalry between them instead of their shared interest in Adrien. As for Ladybug, I want her to be almost the polar opposite of Marinette. Ladybug is witty, resourceful, confident, and bold. In short, she's everything that Marinette wishes she could be without the mask. Another one of Marinette's central character flaws is her insecurity. A major part of her character growth is learning that she is Ladybug with or without the mask. In the original show, Marinette was trusted with the Ladybug Miraculous simply by helping Master Fu cross the street in the Origins episode. I always thought the way that Marinette and Adrien got their powers was kind of dumb, because if that's all you need to do to become a Miraculous holder, pretty much anyone can become a superhero by doing the bare minimum. I'm willing to give Adrien a pass for this because his character is still integral to the plot, with or without being Cat Noir since his father is Hawkmoth. In Marinette's case, the only thing special about her is that she has the Ladybug Miraculous, which could really have gone to anyone. In an attempt to make Marinette more of an essential character, in my rewrite, she's the reincarnation of the original mage who created the Chinese Miracle Box. This does the job of tying in her Chinese heritage to the plot, and also gives Marinette more of an equal role to Adrien in terms of plot relevance. This will also make Marinette becoming the next Guardian more significant, because she was always destined to be the next Guardian of the Miracle Box, rather than Master Fu just deciding to transfer the guardianship over to her. I got the idea of reincarnation from Avatar: The Last Airbender. In that show, when the previous avatar dies, their spirit is then reincarnated into another person, creating the next avatar. In my version of the story, Master Fu was believed to be the newest reincarnation of the original mage of the Chinese Miracle Box. As a young child, he was sent to train with the Order of the Guardians. During his training, it was discovered that he was not the true reincarnation of the mage, and he was never meant to become the Guardian. After learning this, Fu became very angry and used the Peacock Miraculous to create a sentient monster which attacked the Order of the Guardians. Due to his anger, Fu lost control of the sentient monster, killing the Guardians and destroying the temple. The Peacock Miraculous and the Butterfly Miraculous were both lost in the destruction of the temple. Master Fu was able to escape with the rest of the Miracle Box and dedicated his life to finding the true Guardian, who turned out to be Marinette. After Fu discovers Marinette's identity as the next Guardian, he entrusts her with the Ladybug Miraculous and begins to train her. In the original show, each Miraculous is based on a certain concept. The two most powerful Miraculous are the Ladybug, which is the Miraculous of creation, and the Black Cat, which is the Miraculous of destruction. The Ladybug and Black Cat are meant to be complete opposites of each other, but when brought together, complement each other perfectly. However, in the show, the Miraculous are not equally powerful. Cat Noir's only notable power is Cataclysm, which is the ability to destroy anything that he touches. On the other hand, Ladybug has several powers, including Lucky Charm, the ability to create an object that can be used to defeat an akumatized villain, Purification, which allows her to turn akumas back into normal butterflies and restore the akumatized person, and lastly, Miraculous Ladybug, which allows her to undo any damage caused. In my rewrite of the show, I decided to keep both her Lucky Charm and Purification powers. However, I am getting rid of the Miraculous Ladybug. I understand the necessity of this power in the show. The original premise is a villain of the week type of show, where everything is set back to normal at the end of each episode. I'm not using this power in my rewrite because I want there to be more tension between Ladybug and Cat Noir and the citizens of Paris. Even though Ladybug will still be able to restore akumatized villains back to their former state, any damage caused during the battle will be permanent, including fallen buildings, injuries, and even death. However, the limitations of her powers do not affect episodes such as Reflecta or Stormy Weather. In a case like this, any citizen turned into a copy of Reflecta would be returned to normal when the Akuma is purified, and changes that Stormy Weather made to the weather would be reversed because they no longer have their powers. Ladybug's inability to reverse the damage caused by the akumatized villains will allow for more tension in the story, making Marinette wonder if she's really doing the right thing with her powers. This will also leave room for some citizens who will stand against Ladybug and Cat Noir and believe that their presence is making Paris more dangerous. This idea was slightly played with in the New York special, but since the show has to stick with its formula, there were no lasting consequences. I want Ladybug's inability to restore everything to its original state to be a recurring issue in my rewrite, instead of having all the citizens of Paris blindly supporting Ladybug and Cat Noir. In my redesign of Marinette, I wanted to hone in on her shy and insecure nature. I used a similar color palette to the original show with lots of pink. I also used soft pastel colors to indicate her timid nature. I also decided to draw her more hunched over herself with baggy sleeves and a shy expression to show some insecurity. I also referenced her original character design in her overalls, with the polka dots on the cuffs of her shorts and the flower design in the corner of her shorts. In the original show, Marinette has a similar design to these flowers on everything she creates, which indicates that Marinette made her outfit by hand. I also decided to switch out her small purse for a larger backpack, and I also swapped her ballet flats for pink sneakers because I think they look better with the outfit and are more practical. I decided to make Marinette's hair a darker and less saturated blue color to help with the contrast between her civilian design and her superhero design. In addition to this, I also decided to change her eyes to a more grayish-brown color. This color appears softer and more cohesive to her design than her original blue eyes. For her earrings, I decided to make them into solid black studs for their camouflage mode. I'm not the biggest fan of Ladybug's canon suit design, so I decided to change it up a lot. I took a lot of inspiration from Spider-Man, since he was one of the original inspirations for Ladybug, and also because his design has a good way of splitting up all the red in his costume. My design is somewhat similar to the upgraded Lucky Charm suit that Ladybug gets in Season 4. In her original design, Ladybug is in a full-body, bright red spandex suit with black polka dots all over it. I've always found her suit pretty boring to look at, so I decided to break up all the red with lots of black. I kept her neck black like the original suit design, but I also added black shoulder pads and knee pads as well as black boots, which she didn't have in the original show. I also added black on the fingers of her gloves, on her legs, and the middle of her arms. I also decided to add a bit of black on her torso, and I made a sort of cutout of the original polka dot design. To break up all the black in her costume, I also added 2 curved stripes on both of her legs, one in red and one in white. I also added a thin white belt on her torso to hold her yo-yo. I also decided to add armor on her back, which is what the 2 black things on her shoulders are supposed to be. Another thing that I modified on her suit is the size and location of her spots. I removed the spots from her arms and mask, and I kept the spots only on her earrings, torso, legs, and yo-yo to prevent her design from looking too busy. I also made the spots a lot larger so I could have fewer spots while also being able to cover up her entire torso with them. I gave Ladybug the same grayish-brown eye color as Marinette, but I did change up her hair color. I gave Ladybug a more cartoony blue hair color compared to Marinette, but I still kept the color pretty dark to match the vibe of her suit. As someone who's been watching the show since it first aired on Nickelodeon, I have my fair share of problems with the show. Even though I addressed a few of them in this video, everything I changed only centers around Marinette, and there are a lot of things that I'd still like to change about other characters and plot points. Since I haven't done my redesign of Adrien and Cat Noir, I wasn't able to explain as much about my plot changes as I would like to, since a lot of the plot would also focus on Adrien. I do plan on making a part 2 explaining things that I would like to change about his character, as well as his new role in the story. If you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate you watching and making it all the way to the end. As I already mentioned, I plan on making a part 2 about Adrien, and I also have ideas for several other characters in the show, including Master Fu, Gabriel Agreste, and some of Marinette and Adrien's classmates, including Alya, Nino, and Chloe. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing redesigns of other characters from Miraculous, Ladybug, or just any art you'd like to see from me in general. If you enjoy my art, I also have an Instagram, TikTok, and Tumblr, all of which are ivory.doodles. All of my social media is linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.